Alright, so we're going to go ahead and come in and do a quick update. We are filling the big tank, and I have purchased, I bought PetSmart out of small silver dollars. So that means we have exported my old fish and activated the UV system. So this is on a UV trial now. They'll have 30 days to make sure everybody's healthy in there. There's 7 in there we've added in. And that will let this thing get started. So I did a test on this today. I'll go over what the numbers are. We pulled 5 gallons, probably 4 gallons of water out of this tank, and the biosphere, things that were hanging in there, and moved them over here to the big tank to go ahead and get the cycle going and give these guys a chance. So there's the three original fish are in this tank, and inside one of the micron socks there is the biospheres that should be dosing everything out. So this was all the RO water. We're up full, and you can look here in the tank now. Water level's probably maybe a third, getting close to a third full here. So I've, like I said, tested the parameters. Everything's looking good. So I went down to a 40-watt bulb inside this just to give them a little bit of light for a couple hours a day. And we'll now leave this cycle for a good week or so, just kind of monitoring everything. I've brought the temperature up a little bit from the other tank, trying to get as close to breeding conditions as I can. We're up at about 80.9. I think it's set at about 81.2. Most of that heat is just coming off the pump, which is kind of nice. So everything's still running good. Water's crystal clear, staying that way. No evidence of any trouble with the cycle engaging just on its own. I'm sure there'll be a little bit up and down over the next couple days. But like I said, I dosed this 15 gallon and 15 gallon with 4 gallons of straight water out of that tank. And also the biospheres have been in there for a couple months. So that should get the biological system kind of going and let everything get established. There's only 3 fish in there anyway. So, and there's a ton of flow. I've put inside the BRS reactor, I've put a 0.5 micron pre-filter from my RO system in there just to polish the water and give a little bit extra place to catch some of the bacteria and give them a place to bond and kind of start working. And I can just use that as needed then. If I don't run it inside there, if I want to run carbon, I'll pull it out and just soak it in the tank. Just leave it in a high flow area. Just adds more biological filtration, and why not, Doesn't hurt anything, so it's not really going to trap anything. So it's after this 100 micron socks, after a 200 micron, post polish filter, and it's a half of 1 micron, just polish the water. So anyway, coming back to the parameters with the test kit, I'll just read through them because I'm not going to run them off the top of my head and make them up. I really do take them. Keep a little book here and keep all my stuff running. So let's see what we are. The eclipse today was ammonia was 0. Your NO3 is about 20 parts per million, which is pretty much what that tank over there, the little tank, usually runs. We only had about 0 to 0.2 of NO3. Now yesterday we did an algae scrub and we've changed all this water around and stuff, so that's part of my nitrate cycle going into nitrate. So my GH is 75. This is probably a get. Those tests are kind of loose. So chlorine's obviously 0. My KH is 45, which is the number I like. My pH has come down a little bit from my last test. So 6.9 to 7.0. The previous one was I'm wrong. My last one was 6. No, that's RO. That's my new RO number. My last tank run was 7.2. So temperature's always been the same. I keep all that 7 to 7.2, 7.2. So we're down a little to 7.0, which is that new RO water going into that little tank. That's bringing that pH down and bringing that GH and KH down too. So the big tank on day 1 technically, but RO water and the filter's been running for maybe a day or so. No ammonia, 2 to 4 parts per million of NO3. That's coming over from that 4 gallons I dosed to start my system. There was 20 parts per million over there. We ended up with 3 or 4 in my system over here. Math works out right. So NO3 is showing none over there. So NO2 is none. So there's just nothing in that cycle. There's not even any gravel in there to produce nitrate yet. so there's not even any ammonia in there. So my GH obviously off the RO is coming out at 0 to 25, chlorine nothing, 20 to 40 KH, which is good, and my pH is down at 6.5 to 6.8, which is great. That's what I want for breeding these silver dollars. We're pretty much right on. We do not have any marine or any kind of supplement stuff in this tank now, so there's nothing in that. I've ordered some Kent Marine, and I will put a little Kent Marine there, just a little bit, just to make sure we've got, you know, essential stuff that we need. But I've also ordered some peat. That's obviously going to be my long-term, maintaining a low pH. It's always going to stay low if it comes right out of the RO, but over the long haul, it's going to want to creep up. So I won't feed those 3 fish in there, my old fish, so I won't feed them for a day or so. I usually only feed them 2 or 3 times a week anyway. I don't have them on a high feeding schedule. So these guys over here, they've already been in the tank now 2 or 3 hours, acclimated, and I've gone ahead and just fed them a minute ago, and they readily ate. They're happy, so we'll make sure there's no ick or anything funny coming in on those fish. With that UV running 24/7, they should be in good shape. So tank is super clear today. Like you see from that last one, it was a little cloudy, so that water's freaking crystal clear. So there's some algae on the back of the tank. You'll see a little green, but that I just don't like scrubbing all the algae off. You know, it's part of the system, and I kind of like those fake plants and there are little algae on them. So I just keep the front display grass clean, but you can readily, you see just through this thing, it's crystal clear. This water's always going to be clear. That's a great little tank. So it's such a simple filter, such a simple idea, but the thing just freaking works. So anyway, yeah, so we got 7 guys is all they had at the store, 7 small. So I bought 7. They're getting a new shipment in Friday. I'll probably buy another 14 or so, leave them in this tank. That'll be probably all this tank can really biologically handle. You know, 15, 20 fish max with this bio load. Will get a chance to spike up a little from 3 fish to 7. And then, you know, going up, it'll make more sense that way. So we'll just let her go that way. Anyway, there's our UV back there. It's got its own little pump to run it. So I've just added all that in. I'll just run it as needed right now. It'll be 24/7. I'm actually going to get on the internet now and read and make sure. I've heard people say that running a UV at night can cause some spikes and some issues with pH and stuff fluctuating a little bit. So I may not want to run it in the dark. You know, when the light is in there, one thing is happening. When the light's off, something else is happening at night. So I'm just going to read up and make sure I don't have any conflicts on that. I don't want anything. You know, I've never ran that UV really. I didn't use it before. I didn't need it. The tank was, you know, 3 years old, 3-year-old fish, so there was nothing in there. So, but I potentially imported, you know, bad stuff in there. So I want to make sure that that thing is going to cause an issue. Anyway, so that's a quick update, and she's filling up. It's going to take a while. I'm counting 4 days probably to fill at 25 gallons per day as my RO system. So it's going to take a while before that's all going. But like I said, I've got this thing isolated, which is nice. The way I plumbed that is isolate that filtration system. It's actually running through. My filter box is actually running. So you can see it fluctuating right there. Everything's running behind the display. So technically this is feed mode. There will be no fluctuation in water changing out in the display tank for feeding. It's all run through the system. All the pipes are purged and everything is running. It's full siphon like it's supposed to be. And that just goes around in circles. And I've actually kicked it on just once or twice just to blow a little bit of air and water flow into that RO water. And I add a little bit of bacteria into it just to let it get ahead a bit. But unless I see it clouding, if I see it clouding, I'm going to have trouble because I can't put the RO water in there any faster than it goes in. So 4 days. Thursday sometime from what I am Monday afternoon now. So excited, thanks.